Hello, my friends. Welcome to EdTech with Adam. And today we continue on with our collaborative annotation test series where we're looking at a bunch of different collaborative annotation tools that we can use in our classrooms for our online learning environments in lieu of face-to-face scaffolded discussions. And this could also be very useful for blended classrooms as well. And today we're looking at Hypothesis, which, as far as I can see, is a well-known online app, it's used as a Chrome extension, and it also works together with some learning management systems. And it's also one that is being used at my university here at the University of British Columbia in Canada. So we're going to take a look at it, and once again, we're going to go through our table and we're going to check off all the different features here and see how it works and how the annotation functions. So let's dive right into it here. Now, I'm going to use the learning management system because well, first of all, a lot of schools are using learning management systems like Canvas, Blackboard, Moodle, etc. And the other reason is that Hypothesis actually has a really cool integration with SpeedGrader in Canvas to help you grade annotations, which I think is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and try that out. So just like we've done before with feedback fruits, we're actually going to create not an assignment directly from the tool. We're going to be creating it because we want to use SpeedGrader here as a separate assignment. So here we go, collaborative annotation test hypothesis, and I'll add that. And just like before, we'll go into this and we will edit it. Now, you can write whatever you want here. So hypothesis test, and those could be maybe instructions to your students. I'll give it some points here, and I have to go into submission type and click on external tool, just like we do normally with the other ones too. And I'm going to scroll down here and find hypothesis. Now, this is going to give me the option of entering a website. So if I have a website that I'd like to annotate, I can do that. Or I can put in the URL of a PDF, or I can even bring a PDF from the Google Drive, which I'm going to do today. So I'm going to use my handy dandy go-to astronomy file here from openstacks.org, a really great file. And as usual, it gives me a little URL here. Now, as again, something that I usually do is I load it in a separate tab, because when you load stuff within Canvas or within an LMS, you often get a narrow vision. So to give us a full screen view, I'm going to load it in a new tab, click select. And let's make it due tomorrow. And I can decide here who I want to assign it to. All right, so let's save and publish so it's ready right away for our students. So I've done that. Now, as a teacher, let's take a look at it. I'm going to click on this link here, and here we go. So it's opened up in this new window here. And similar to a lot of the other platforms, it's very simple. We just need to highlight something, and we can choose. Now, in Hypothesis, we can choose to annotate something, or we can choose to highlight it. So let's just try out the highlighting, see what it looks like. So we can highlight things, and if we open this sidebar here, just clicking on this, we can see what was highlighted, which is cool. I can kind of keep track of what I'm highlighting. Now, let's take a look and see if we can do some annotations here. So I'm going to highlight this. This looks like an important fact that I want my students to know. I'll click on annotate, and right here I can write in, this is cool. Did you know about this? Describe what this means to you, whatever you want to say here. And a cool thing here, we can add some hyperlinks here, maybe to some other resources. We can insert some math things if we want to write in some math functions. And we can also put in pictures. So I can put in a picture link. Now, it won't actually let me put in a picture file, but if I have the picture loaded up to, for example, my personal website, or if I get the picture address from Google, for example, so I can go into Google and I can search for something like cat keyboard, and I can go to images. And for this, I just need to get an image and right click it and copy the image address and jump back over into hypothesis, and maybe we can make a response to something here, and click on image, and we can paste this picture that we just got, and then click post, and there we go. We have a picture of the cat playing the piano, and also we can bring in videos too. So if I go back to Google and go back to the page that we were originally on, I think there was we have the cat playing the keyboard here, and I'll just go in here and take this Google address here. I can either Control C, or I can go into right click and copy it. So after copying the video address, we can just go back into hypothesis and do another reply or make another annotation. And all we have to do is paste the YouTube address, and it will paste the video here. So you have the video, you can use this as an annotation. There you go, you have keyboard cat as part of your offerings in your annotations in class. But yes, this is really cool for being able to give some multimodal annotation abilities to your students so they can really express themselves in some different ways here. Let's make a few more annotations here for our students. So a large amount of liquid water. Maybe I want to highlight this and maybe start a discussion with my students. What other planets are known to have water, for example? And I'll just post this to the class, and I can go down here. What else can we see here? We have, let's take one more. Above Earth. One more. How high have you been above Earth? Excellent. So this is what the annotations look like. And you see here, it tells us how many annotations we've done. Except the first one isn't really an annotation, it's a highlight. So I'm not sure if I agree with how they listed that there. But again, you can show and hide the highlights, so you can look at the page as it is before you went and defaced it with all of your annotations and highlights. And here you can also add, which is one other thing that they have here, a page note, which is something that kind of describes the whole page. So I could say this is an assignment for my students. And this is just an extra little thing here. You can write a little page note in. In any case, let's go back to our annotations. Now, let's hop over to a student account and see what it looks like when students make annotations. And let's also see what it looks like when someone responds to an annotation. So here I am on my student Canvas account. I'm going to click on this hypothesis assignment. I'll load it up into a new window, and should have all the things that my teacher did here. Now, one thing you can see right away is that the highlight that we made on the teacher's account is not visible by the student's account, which is great. It means that you can make your own highlights for your own notes. It might also not be great in the situation that you just want to do a highlight for your students, but you don't necessarily want to annotate something. So that's, give and take right there. But let's take a look at this. We have these annotations. What happens when I click on them? Well, I can see exactly what the person clicked and what their comment was. So I can really get down to exactly what those annotations are, which is kind of cool. And let's go back. Let's click on show all annotations, see all the annotations are here. Let's try responding to one. So I could respond, yes, I knew about this. It's a great, interesting thing. And I can post this to the class, and maybe I'll respond to this one. I could say, I think Mars has water too, something like that. So this is an example of responding. Now, how about I make some annotations as a student here? So I'm going to annotate my student annotation, and maybe I want to start a discussion with my classmates. I could say, have all of you heard about this before? What do you think? So just making a few annotations here. Maybe I'll make one more. Let's check this out. So I'll do this one, Western Hemisphere. I traveled to the Western Hemisphere last year. Something like that. All right, so I've made some annotations here, And we can see here, if I have the annotations, I have all of my annotations. I can see sort of what I've done. So now let's see if we can see individual annotations or filter them. So can I filter them as a student? Let me see. Can I filter them? It doesn't look like I can single out any specific annotations here. So let's go back to the teacher's view and see if we can do that from there. So I'm back in the teacher's view now. And let's see, I have the annotations. I'm gonna have to refresh here. So I can refresh here by clicking on this red down arrow, and now I can see all of these annotations that my student has made. And it looks like here I can't really filter or see that individual student's annotations as is right now. Now, while we can't filter or isolate our students' feedback in the hypothesis window here, we can actually do that if we go back to Canvas and we enter SpeedGrader, which is why I set everything up the way I did here. So let's hop back over to Canvas and let's see if we can look at what our students have done for their annotation assignment here. So I'll open up SpeedGrader, and the cool thing is when you open up SpeedGrader, it will open up just what that student has done. So we have the students' responses here, and we also have the students' annotations, which is really cool. And I can also see who the student was responding to. I can show and hide that. That's really cool because that means that I can sort of track what my student has done. And after looking through it, I can say, wow, that's a great effort. The student has clearly got 95 out of 100. I really liked your comments about da 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 da, and give some really nice feedback. We'd also give some voice feedback or maybe a video feedback or attach a file, things like that. So that's what makes it really cool about the fact that Hypothesis has sort of merged together to function with Canvas. So let's go ahead and click submit on this. So I have given my student their grade on this. Now let's go back to Hypothesis and our example here and go down through this table and check off some things that you can and cannot do. So the next thing here is, can we edit this page? Can we edit this resource? And we cannot. And again, this is something that is usually a good thing because this isn't collaborative writing, it's collaborative annotation and discussion. In this case, we're more focused on annotating and starting up these discussions with our classmates. So, no, you cannot edit something right on the page, but yes, it is a good thing in this case. Now, in terms of being able to assign completion conditions, theoretically, we could do that in Canvas on our assignment description. So when the students go in and they see the assignment description that we made on the Canvas page, so if I hop back over here and go back to Canvas, you see here, this is what I wrote earlier, hypothesis test. I could have written, I want you to make at least 10 annotations and respond at least 5 times to your classmates. So it's not automatically checked. This is something that the teacher would actually have to manually check in SpeedGrader themselves, but there isn't a way. So let's go on to compliancy. Now, this is a little bit difficult. Now, the reason is because, well, for Americans, it is FERPA compliant because it uses Google. It's hosted in the United States. For FIPA compliancy, it's complicated because when you're using it, especially when you're attaching it to one of the learning management systems, it's extracting the names of the students into Hypothesis so that you can see who's commenting. So if we go into here as a teacher, let me hop back to the teacher's side. You can see here that it's using the names. Now this is the name, test student 1 is the name that I gave my student here, but this would be the student's real name from Canvas. This name was actually taken off of Canvas. So unfortunately, this would not really qualify as being FIPA compliant unless they were able to prove that this was being stored on Canadian-based servers like Amazon Web Servers. Now let's talk about what kind of resources you can import. As you can see, it focuses mostly on web-based HTML, so websites, or PDFs, either based on the internet or ones that you're storing in Google Drive. But in terms of other types of resources, you'd have to find a way to put them up onto a website, which isn't really difficult. You could make a WordPress website and upload almost anything to it. and you'd be able to go through it in Hypothesis, but I'm not sure exactly what the breadth of that is, and they don't list that on their website anywhere. So that is something to keep in mind, but in terms of web-based things and PDFs, this platform works fine for that. In terms of its interoperability and what platforms it works with, in addition to the fact that it can work on its own through its Chrome extension, it works with a whole bunch of different learning management systems. So many, in fact, it's actually a lot more than a lot of the other platforms. I have to read the list here. So it works on Canvas, Brightspace, Moodle, Blackboard, Schoology, and Sakai. So it works on a whole bunch of different platforms here, which makes it really useful for all different kinds of schools who are functioning on all different kinds of learning management systems. All right, so that's it for Hypothesis. I hope all of you enjoyed this and you were able to learn about yet another collaborative annotation system and see how it might fit into your learning context. As always, if you have any challenges you're facing right now that you could solve with learning technology, let me know and see if I could try to help you find something and make some comparisons. If you like this, please remember to leave a like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future, and I could go ahead and work on that. As always, stay healthy and remember, learning is everything and everything is learning. Bye-bye.